This is KC Tunes and Brews. Local beer, local coffee, and local music. From the City of Fountains, I'm your host, Adam Bartling. All right, here we are on episode number 11. And I told myself today I was going to stop saying every episode number because it's annoying me that I do that, but that's what we are on here, so it's kind of an accomplishment. I'm kind of happy. We are here in Blue Springs, Missouri, at brand new brewery here, right off of I-70. It's called Windshift Brewing, and Tony DiPlacito is here with me. Did I do that?
Yep. No. Yeah.
I got the name right.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Good.
I've heard lots of different versions of it. So.
Okay. Yeah. And I should mention I've been talking to Tony for a long time, probably a year. The podcast is almost hitting a year at this point in August, and I was talking to you before I started it.
Yep.
But I have not actually met you in person. So.
No, first time. I remember hearing the first podcast and was really impressed with audio quality and the content, and I was like, God, whatever it's going to take to make this guy keep doing this.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell off the podcast wheel or whatever there for a while. I took a couple months off, and I feel glad to be back out here doing
kids
it
happen.
Again. Yeah, kids happen. That's been the focal point of the year. Little Carter, and it's crazy how much they grow so quickly, and then owning a house too, or first time homeowner. So yeah,
you got a full plate.
Yeah, but. And I haven't homebrewed for a while. I kind of just stopped doing everything, but here we are. Now that it's summertime here in Missouri, I think it's a good time to get back on get back out here. So we're here at Windshift, and looks like you just had a private party here.
We did.
Tonight.
We're open Thursday through Sunday, and this is our second private party. We figured we'll do them on Wednesdays. Cool. Somebody wants to come in, they can book it ahead of time, and it kind of works out.
Yeah. So Thursday through Saturday, the hours are the same those 3 days then?
Yeah, Thursday we're open. We say 5 to 9, but it's 5 to 10, and the Royals are playing. It's usually a little bit longer.
Nice.
Friday we're open from noon to 10, Saturday noon to 10, and Sunday noon to 5.
Cool. Awesome. So tomorrow's Thursday in real world time, so you'll be open tomorrow. And I work right next to you and never knew that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's crazy. You wouldn't think this is a brewery at all.
No.
From the outside, but it just looks like a car shop.
Yeah, no, if you pull up and you think you're at the Napa Auto Care Center, then you are in the right place.
Yeah. At first I thought, man, that Napa store is really promoting this new brewery. And I've heard of Windshift. Wow. And then I realized that this is it.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of crazy. I've worked in this building for 25 years fixing cars, and this space that we're in right now was just kind of a office space. It was kind of broken up into 4 little offices and had a kitchenette. Back in the day, it was a Union Tape Company before 3M bought them out. And this was the offices, and then where our shop is, that was the warehouse space. So this has kind of been an awkward space for the owner to rent out. He's rented it out a few times over the years, and I approached him a couple years ago about using it for a brewery, and he wasn't sold on the idea about the transformations and what it would take if it didn't work out. But this past Christmas, it was coming up on my 24th year of working for him. He basically said, hey, if you want to use that space up front, it's yours.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah.
I guess at that point, after 24 years, he trusts that you make the right decision here. So
yeah. And seeing kind of me out brewing and that kind of thing. He had a conversation with Lynn. He bumped into her at Office Depot or Office Max, one of them, on a Saturday, and I was brewing at Apex, and he inquired to where I was, and he knew I was working up there, and he's like, he's really kind of into this. And she said, look, if he's not brewing at Apex, he'll be brewing in my garage.
Yeah.
So that stuff doesn't have to be at my house. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, you did. How long were you at? Well, Apex hasn't hit a year yet, have they? As far as the tap room.
As far as being open, no. That project from the start concept to moving into the new space and the build out, I think, took about 18 months.
Yeah, I remember it was kind of...
Yeah, I started prepping recipes late August for an October opening. So, yeah.
I remember that. I remember it kept getting pushed back, and I was like getting excited for it to open. And then I just got really busy and could never really go anyway,
Yeah.
But, so yeah, you were you a fountain? How long did you work at Apex? Were you part of the...
Well, I had been working Saturdays in the homebrew store for probably the past 3 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was working with homebrewers and helping people with recipes and, just kind of a great place to hang out and earn a little extra money to feed my hobby.
That was the first place that I saw on the map when I was going to move to Independence.
Oh, really?
I saw Apex, 'cause I was looking for breweries, and at that time there were no tap rooms open, but there was that place, and that's kind of where I got the idea to homebrew, because it said homebrew supply, and I didn't even know there was such a thing, to be honest.
That's awesome.
So I went in there, I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And at that time, you guys were at the other side of the complex.
Yep.
It was really small. I mean, a lot smaller than it is now.
Yeah.
So just in 2 years, that place is really good.
It's morphed into something pretty cool.
So yeah, but anyway, that's not where we are right now. We're here, and it's awesome. You got this going now. So you said you were a home brewer for
roughly 10 years. I mean, something popped up on Facebook recently. It was a 9-year memory, and at that point, it was kind of when I started figuring out how to do stuff.
That's cool.
In the beginning, like everybody else, my wife bought me a Mr. Beer kit.
Okay, yeah.
For Christmas, and
it was like a little gallon.
Yeah, that first year was not good beer.
Do you remember what the first one was?
Well, it tasted like apple cider, but some sort of cerveza, probably. Yeah. I'm not sure what it was.
So yeah, so how did it go for you after that? I mean, so obviously that became something you really enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
Beer now.
Actually, I probably came close to giving that up after the Mr. Beer kit. I brewed the 2 things that came with it, and friends drank it and said it was fine. And, drinking craft beer, I'm like, this is not craft beer. And then that following summer, again, Lynn came home with a Brewer's Best kit that she found at a garage sale. And
cool.
I was like, oh, well, we need to... By the look of this, we're going to need to go buy some equipment. So, yeah, I did the old turkey fryer and kettle. And ordered buckets. And
so you went the whole... I saw a lot of stuff online. People just build their own kind of kits and stuff with those igloo coolers. And then they got they call them the false bottoms or whatever. I don't know what any of that stuff is.
The first couple of batches I did were the extract out of those Brewer's Best kits. And it was a combination of EC Krause, and then when Grains and Taps opened up in Lee Summit, then I headed over there and grabbed some stuff from them. And I think I probably did extract for 6 months and started watching YouTube videos. And I'm like, hey, what's this all grain thing about? And that's okay. I got to go to Home Depot and buy some igloo coolers.
Yeah, so you build
do all that stuff. Yeah.
See, I saw that stuff, and I was way too intimidated by all of that. And so I ended up just buying I did extract for a while, probably the first year, kind of like what you did, it sounds like. And then I bought it's called a mash and boil.
Yep.
So you do all grain, you sort of do the all grain. I guess it is fully all grain through that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And my wife got kind of sick of me brewing and over boiling on the stove. So we had some catastrophes there.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that also. I think the oven at the last house that we sold probably still has wart glued to the glass top.
It is a nasty mess too.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I want to start drinking these if that's okay with you.
No, absolutely.
But I don't know what anything is, so I've been kind of wanting to get to that, and I want you to kind of explain them or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, these are the 7 that I have on currently. I'm going to guess that we're going to stick with about 3 or 4 staples, and then the rest of them will rotate weekly. But starting here at the top, we have the American Pilsner.
Is this one here?
Yep.
Right?
Strictly, just Pilsner and Cascade. And that one will be around all the time. We're 4 weeks in this 3rd batch. It's been more popular than I thought it would be. Then coming right around is a Sour Farmhouse. We call it Chaison. It's saison that I've done
That's
quite a
good.
few times over the years, and my oldest daughter loves sours, and she convinced me to
What's the trick to?
kettle sour it.
Yeah.
We just
How do you
basically I got an Omega lacto blend. I did the normal kettle sour mash, run it into the kettle, bring it down to 95 degrees, and then set a temp controller so it stays there. I purged the kettle with CO2, dumped my Omega lacto blend, and then basically saran wrapped the kettle so no oxygen to get in there, and let it run for, I think I let it run for 18 hours before the first time I checked it. Ended up going a little over 24
Wow.
before it got to the pH I wanted. And then from that point on, I just continued with my regular brew days of saison. In this case, I went ahead and hop scheduled just like everything I did with that beer, and I think everything comes through, and I'm kind of happy with that turned out.
I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Haven't had a sour in a while, actually.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
That's an oatmeal brown. That's
Oatmeal
one that
brown.
I've been brewing for quite a few years. And, that's recipe is dialed in where it is, and it's won a few times up at the Masters competition and won at the National Homebrew competition, and it's just kind of one of those beers.
It's like a light. It's almost like a light version of a like a stout, right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you still got some of the coffee and chocolate in there.
One thing I want to do or get good at is like how to describe every moment of tasting a beer. You know, I always like watching those YouTube videos of guys that are like, it's got the aroma's this, and then I got the taste, and then the aftertaste is such and such.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, for example, he's drinking one of my home brews. You asked me what yeast I used. You know, I feel like that's just because I'm a year in, but you can taste the yeast, and you probably know different blends and everything.
You were telling me about this beer and how your family, it's family wheat, and they malted it, and it's a fantastic beer. But what I'm really impressed with is the fermentation character. You know, it's definitely like a wheat yeast, and it's not overly phenolic or overly ester. It's just a very pleasant beer.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
No, yeah, I'm impressed.
I'm happy to hear that. I really am. I've been nervous to bring these out to see how people who, you know, when you start something new, you get these people who are like senior idols in your mind. They've been doing this forever, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready to take them out and see what these people think, you know? So hearing like the fact that you like it's kind of like a sigh of relief. It's like, okay, maybe I'll do it again.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'd be happy to have this one on tap, to be honest with you.
Cool.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I'll give a lot of credit to my dad on that too, because he did all the wheat at home. You know, we just sprouted it and then put it in the dehydrator and then ground it up.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about home brewing, or like we're doing here, brewing on a small scale, is you can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and when you know where all your ingredients came from, and whether they're special or not, it changes the whole character of the beer and your thoughts on beer. And
yeah, that's what's so fun about it.
Yeah,
it's not just like drinking a beer that you bought at the store. You know, there's so much effort and everything that went into it, and then when you taste it, it's like, wow,
exactly.
This is all from scratch. It's like making bread or something, but
yeah,
you know, I don't know.
Liquid bread.
Yeah, liquid bread, exactly. So, all right, oatmeal brown. What do we got here?
That's our Microburst Junior American IPA.
Ooh, American IPA. It's gonna be one of my favorites, probably.
Yeah, that
Love
one.
IPA.
We had an Indiegogo for the porch and the bike stop here in
good.
Blue Springs. Had the rights to come in and pick a beer and name it. And we had a double on tap, and they were wanting to have some sort of a weather-related name, but they were all taken.
Yeah.
So they settled on naming it as a person, Mike Crowburst,
Okay.
after Microburst.
Microburst.
The original version was Simcoe, Cascade, Centennial, Mosaic, and Eldorado. And this version is 6% instead of 9%, and it uses Chinook up front instead of the Simcoe to give a little bit of piney character.
Is it dry hop then too? Yeah.
Yep, dry hopped, all Mosaic on the dry hop.
Nice. Okay.
Then going around, that is the Mandarina Pale Ale. We're going to be doing
Pale ale.
a lot of these not a smash beer because the pale ale base is done, but we're going to do single hop beers.
That's good.
So people can kind of get an idea of what that hop lends to a beer. As a home brewer, I spent a year every Friday doing smash beers. So it might be 2-row Cascade, and then the next Friday it might be Maris Otter Cascade, and then next Friday it would be Vienna Cascade. And I kept doing that same rotation with different hops. And after that first year was done, I extensive notes, and then I started adding in other flavors to kind of develop some of these recipes that we're trying right now.
How far into homebrewing did you start making up your own recipe kind of thing?
I would say once I switched to all grain, I went back and did a few of the Brewer's Best kits, kind of converted over for the all grain. Grabbed Designing Great Beers, John Palmer's book, and a few others. And then at that point, I was kind of like going back to my notes. The one on the very end here is an amber. It's actually the very first recipe that I wrote.
Oh, cool.
And brewed.
So best for last here.
Yeah.
Flight. Awesome.
I did a version of it at Apex, but I added chocolate malt to that one, and it's not in this one. And that was kind of the first. And then from that point on, I tried to do in my own recipes as much as I could, going back to those notes and then adding on. So, I knew kind of what EKG and Maris Otter were going to be like in that brown. So grab an English Crystal and first go around, it's good, but it's not there.
Yeah.
Bump the crystal or add a second crystal until I got there. Then at the time, that was making a lot of beer.
Yeah.
And
what's a lot of beer?
5 gallons every Friday.
Oh, wow. Where'd you keep it all?
I gave them away.
Oh, okay.
Basically would ferment them out. I bought all my neighbors' growlers.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so they would leave an empty growler on my porch. I would wash it, fill it.
Oh, I like
and
it.
I'd knock on their door and hand it to them. And then a week later, it would be back for the next one.
So were you kegging right away? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bottling thing I did, I would
pain.
say probably 5, 6. And I was like, oh, no,
It's a pain in the ass.
There's got to be an easier way
Yeah.
to this. So
Yeah.
back to YouTube.
Right. That's what I want to do next, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that bottle brush in every bottle. It's just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost as long as a Brew Day bottle.
Yeah, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But still, you get a beer at the end.
No, that's how my neighbors ended up with growlers, because they were bringing me their empty Boulevard bottles.
Yeah.
And so I was delabeling, scrubbing bottles, putting beer in the bottles, and then letting them condition and then taking them back to them. I was like, no, they're getting growlers.
Yep. That's horrible. I set aside a day just to clean, and then the next day, like the morning, that's when I do. Well, if I'm taking labels off, I'll set a day aside for that. Then the next day I'll clean, and then I'll spend the morning sanitizing.
Yeah, it's a good way to break it up.
Yeah, but it still sucks. It's like takes the whole weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
But, all right, what are we?
That's the English IPA.
Okay.
That's another one that I brewed solely for competitions. Honestly, because there just wasn't that much of that style. And I brewed it for here, and I wasn't sure how customers were going to take to it. I mean, it's not something you find readily.
That's different. It's unique.
It is.
For sure.
Very malt forward, and
Yeah.
it's got Fuggle EKG and Styrian Golding in it, so you got earthy herbal and tea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a hit. It's probably our third best seller.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What's your top seller?
The American Pilsner.
Okay.
Followed by the Oatmeal Brown. The American
Apologize if you said
Pilsner, Oatmeal Brown, I think I'm on the third batch of that too.
Wow.
So
Cool. How consistent obviously now you are, but how it took you a lot of trial and error, I'm sure, to be consistent with your recipes, right?
Yeah. I have noticed some differences in using different malts.
Yeah.
One of the things, of course, buying malts now through BSG or More Beer Pro, Country Malt Group, I'm trying to get as like, so for the English beers, I'm trying to make sure that I have crisp Maris Otter, and I use English crystal malts for those beers, and I think that's made a difference. I get a little bit of a richness, I would think, out of the best way I can describe it, out of the oatmeal brown, just from using those malts.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with the Brews crystal malts I was using before. I think there's just something a little more using those malts, and it could all be in my head. It's that whole romance thing of making the beer.
Yeah. So where do you who distributes here to you, or how does that work for you?
Basically, I think BSG is out of
Okay.
Shakopee, Minnesota.
Okay.
More beers out of California. It comes in on a freight truck.
I got you. Where do you store all the grain and everything? In the auto shop?
No, I've got some loaded into my garage, and then we'll walk through a little bit later in the back. I've got a little bit of storage back there.
That's cool.
I can keep enough for 8 beers, 2 batches at a time here. So, but the downside to buying from these places is you pay for a pallet fee, so you order as much as you can to save on shipping.
Stuff that pallet.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the original.
Yep. The Amber. Yep.
Yeah. What's the name of this one?
I haven't named it. No, just
Amber Ale?
Just Amber Ale for now.
Cool.
The feedback on that one's been pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. Haven't had a bad one yet.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that one's a little hoppier than your average Amber. Cascade Centennial. I kind of like to call it my Northwest Amber Ale.
Okay, yeah.
Stuff.
I can see that. Yeah,
used
for
to
sure.
Drinking out off the West Coast.
Yeah, cool. So, besides home brewing, how long was Apex was the first one that you went to, right?
Yep.
The first place you worked commercially?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And Grains and Taps was here for a while, it sounds like, huh?
They were downtown Lee Summit.
I've been there one time, and I forgot about that I'd been there until you mentioned it, but it's pretty cool. Yeah,
the old Grains and Taps, I don't know, that's 5-6 years ago, maybe a little longer, when they opened up on Douglas. It was just it was smaller than Apex.
Yeah.
You were talking about up in the other end.
The original Apex?
Yeah, about half the size. And they ended up...
It's still pretty small now,
yeah,
right?
They ended up putting some taps in there, so it kind of became a local ZZ Hop hangout.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I found out about ZZ Hops.
Are you still part of that group?
Yeah.
You have meetings? Was it once a week or once a month?
Yeah, third Monday of the month. The next one's actually, the July meeting's actually here.
Oh, sweet. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a successful moment in your mind, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's going to be very cool. Yeah. Because there's a lot of old members and new members from ZZ Hops that, I owe a lot to getting to this point, exchange of ideas and recipes. And, I like to think that I learn something new from everybody I talk to, never stop learning.
And I'm sure that's going to be the case as you continue here as well.
Yeah.
So, do you think that, do you have plans to stay in this location for a while?
Yeah, I would think so.
And how is your manager / owner? Is he?
Yeah.
Thinking this is pretty cool.
No, yeah. Paul is great. We've become friends over 25 years. Our families have grown up together. Looking down the horizon, our plan for ourselves is, I'm still going to stay over there. So everything that we do here comes back into this. So we'll, kind of build a little war chest, if you will. And then if the time comes when the rest of the building is for sale or I can expand into part of it, that's kind of the plan.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what have you seen growth-wise from from a standpoint of what Missouri craft brew was like 10 years ago, like the industry here compared to now? Does it seem like this is the time that it's booming, or like?
I think we have a lot more to go.
A lot more to go, yeah.
Yeah, my parents live in Northern California. Lynn's brother lived in Southern California in Temecula, so we'd spend a lot of time out there. So her sister lives in Denver. We lived in Goodland for a while and used to go to Fort Collins.
Okay, yeah.
Back when that was quite a long time ago, but Fort Collins was, I think, at that time even bigger brew scene than what we have in Kansas City currently. And the population back then was probably maybe 200,000, and
Fort Collins, yeah.
You had 15 breweries, and look at how many people we have here in Kansas City, and what do we have, 17 or something?
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the total count, but. Then I have family on the East Coast too, so it's when we're traveling between the coast and we're seeing what these other cities have to offer, and then look at what the beer scene in Kansas City and the beer community is in Kansas City. I think our future is looking pretty bright.
I think so too. I've seen a lot of change just from being here, and then just meeting one person. I say this all the time. Just meeting one person who's involved in it, it just opens up. It's like domino effect to what's all out there.
Yeah.
And it's a huge community already,
Yeah.
But it's fun seeing all these different places pop up, because I lived in Fort Collins for a while, and it was just like overwhelming. It almost got to the point where you didn't know what the next one was going to be,
Yeah.
So, but so I was searching for that kind of out here, and I think I found it,
Yeah.
So, and it's fun watching them all pop up. And
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and when this came available, Lynn and I had to talk about it and kind of develop our business plan, which we had done before, because before we had teamed up with Jeremy and we're opening up Apex, we were really close to buying a building that was not very far from Border and Double Shift.
Oh, nice.
And except for, dealing with the city on sprinklers and
For the Apex you're talking about?
Yeah, before Apex, and all that. That one was really close, but kind of always in the back of my mind is I really wanted to find something in Eastern Jackson County. And at that time I was thinking, well, that's just not where the business is going.
Right.
And strangely, we had looked at the building that David and Amber opened, East 40, the brewery there, and I walked in, I was like, this is not a brewery.
Right.
And now it's a pretty successful brewery.
Yeah.
So.
I was surprised. I went there one time too, and I was surprised where it was at and everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, huh.
Yeah, no, it worked out great. I mean, they were smarter than I was at the time. But, watching where the market's gone and wanting to kind of be that hyper-local community brewery.
Yeah.
Which I always knew in the back of my mind, because that was what we were looking at in California, and some of the most memorable breweries were in small towns, that they were kind of the epicenter of what was happening there, and that's what we wanted. And so I'm really glad that we everything worked out the way it did, and we ended up in Blue Springs.
Yeah. It's a good place for it, I think.
Yeah.
So it'd be the second brewery open here in Blue Springs, right?
Yeah.
So we got East 40 and then now Windshift.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Windshift. How'd you come up with the name? I was really curious about that.
Basically a lot of little things played into it, the hyper-local thing, all that. But what it came down to is coming back to Blue Springs. And what brought us here originally 26 years ago was Lynn worked for the Weather Service. And we transferred from Goodland to Pleasant, where she had the office in Pleasant Hill, but we bought a place here in Blue Springs because of the Weather Service. And then me working for this company for 26 years, how do we meld those together? So we played with the weather aspect and the automotive aspect, and then finding two of those parts that work that's not already taken or trademarked or all that. But we came upon Windshift, and we both loved the sound of it and loved what it represented. And
I like it too. It really reminds me of home, because I'm Western Nebraska. Yeah. And you never know when the wind's shifting. So
exactly.
It feels kind of probably similar in Goodland, Kansas.
Exactly.
Which I'm terrible. I guess I need to look at the map again, because I did not realize you were that close to where I was from.
Basically, it's 13 miles from the Colorado border and 17 miles from the Nebraska border.
What was the first Colorado city?
Burlington.
Okay. Yeah, I've been there, I think.
Yeah.
I-76 area. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I just didn't realize it was that close.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I guess you don't pass through Goodland on the way here to Colorado on I-70.
You usually get stuck in Goodland on the way from Colorado to here, because they're the first city that you come into from Colorado on I-70, and anytime it snows, they close the gates.
Okay.
Until the town fills up.
Okay. How big is Goodland?
When we lived there, I think it had a population of close to 5,000. I hear they're right around the 3,000 mark now.
Okay. So it went down a little bit.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going back to Colorado in August. I guess I'll have to pay more attention to.
Yeah.
Man, that Kansas drive though, it's just I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah, there's nothing to look at except for wheat and sunflowers.
That's right.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yep.
For 3 hours.
Yeah. It's kind of cool when you're coming back this way and you see all the windmills.
Yep.
Here in Kansas, like that is a crazy amount.
Yeah.
And it goes forever. That's like the most exciting part of the drive.
You're 2/3 of the way through the state from Colorado before you get there.
I know. Yeah. My wife and I drove back from North Carolina not last year. It was probably 3 years ago, just moving her stuff because she lived out by Charlotte. And this was before we lived here, and we drove through Kansas City, and we got all the way back to Greeley, Colorado, and the roads, we couldn't even drive on them because there's so much ice. So we had been driving and driving for 3 days straight, and then got stranded 20 miles from home.
That's killer.
Yeah. So the Windshift, I guess.
Yeah.
But, so you want to explain your setup back there?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you brew on?
Very similar. My homebrew setup was a 3-tier setup that I would use 2 vessels if I was doing 5-gallon batch. So, if you will, brew in a bag with 2 vessels, using the kettle as the heating source. So, kettle rims would be a good way to describe it. So, you're heating water in the kettle, running it over the grain in the mash tun, and then back into the kettle. There's just no basket involved. Everything works the same way it worked with the Colorado brew system. We're using Apex. There's just no basket to lift out. So for me, I think it's a little bit easier to kind of deal with and clean up. And 1 barrel set up, and then 6 barrels of fermentation set up. So 5 weeks in, so far I'm able to keep up, but I am brewing 3 days a week.
I was going to ask, that was kind of my next question, because you said that you were going to have a rotation on how many different beers per week? 3?
Well, I'll have probably 2 or 3 on deck. Well, we'll have 7 beers because we're bringing in a cider, cinder block, and we've got something out of Colorado for this next time around for the people that don't want to drink beer.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I'll have 7 on tap at all times. The Pilsner and the oatmeal brown and probably the sour stay for sure. So we'll always have those 3 core. We'll probably rotate. I'll have a New England, of course. Just put on one we called Solar Tsunami that didn't make the weekend. So I'll have to run double batches of that moving forward. So yeah, there'll be a rotational of some IPAs and some lagers and dark beers. And
cool. Yeah,
so there'll be something roughly new every week.
So how long in advance do you have to start brewing it? What's the turnaround for you?
10 days, usually.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure it out a little bit, but I have a good idea of when I need to brew something to have it back on tap.
Okay. Is that the term forced carb? Is that why it's so fast?
Well, I'm using 1 barrel unitank, so I'm carbon right in the tank.
Okay.
So
I need more YouTube.
Yeah, I'm finding 7 to 8 days beers are finished, and then I can start carbon in the tank, and then I'm usually out 24 hours after that, so 10 days.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye on what's going around, and you guys have sports going on down here, I'm sure, right?
Yep.
Royals games, Chiefs are coming up. That's
Yep.
gonna be fun.
Sporting KC, we had the Blues on when the Blues were playing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we debated about the TVs, have them, not have them. We're kind of a small, cozy space, but, some people just want to come and have a beer and watch the game while other people are talking. It's been a really good mix.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Let's see. So, what do you, will you open more days, do you think, in the future?
It's a possibility. Like tonight, being open for a private event.
Right.
I'm sure Monday Night Football hits. We'll have to look at that. I do have somebody come in on Sundays and work behind the bar, so I can use Sunday as a brew day. And I'd like to think that everything stays as busy as it is now. We're gonna have the patio, so that should add a little bit.
I saw the construction.
Yep.
On Facebook.
So hopefully that'll allow us to hire a couple people that can come in and take on some responsibility and
some bartending and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah.
So are you the only one brewing back there?
Right now I am.
Yeah. It's a lot to take on.
Yeah, I have guys just kind of show up.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we kind of wanted this to be was very much like our garage.
Yeah.
Where we could say, hey, we're brewing. People would show up, have a few beers, pitch in or just hang out, and that's kind of what it's been like.
Yeah,
so cool. If I send a message out that I'm brewing, guys show up. One of the guys that I started brewing with, Tim Philly, he's been coming in on Thursdays and hanging out with me and brewing, and other guys have pitched in on other days. And so it's kind of still has that home brewing feel.
Yeah, perfect.
But we're all kind of having fun.
Yeah. I know I saw a lot of photos of when you guys were putting it all together. There were a lot of people here.
Yeah.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, it was.
It went together quickly, it seemed like.
Yeah, it did. We kind of kept it kind of low key. Didn't want to take away from Apex's new opening and what they were doing. And but yeah, the word just kind of got out, and there would be nights when there was one night when I told Lynn, I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, because basically it was 7 to 5 next door, and then from 5 to 11 every night through the build out, 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I can't remember what I needed to haul something off, or I needed just extra hands that night, and I couldn't get I was trying to get a hold of my daughters to see if they were available. And I was like, I might have to put it off for another night. And 5 minutes after walking over here, there's 4 people knocking on the door. Hey, you need help tonight?
Oh, nice.
And that's just kind of what it was like through the whole thing. Just people showing up and pitching in, and
yeah, that's awesome.
We kicked it out from 5 months to the day for where we walked in here, started tearing walls down until opening day. So
what was it like? What did you have to tear down in here? We can walk the camera around.
Yeah, basically there were 4 offices in here.
Oh right, you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, long hallway.
Wow. That's a lot different now.
The bathrooms were small, so the one bathroom we had to knock out 2 walls and extend it to make it meet ADA requirements. The back area where the brew system was a kitchenette. We had to knock that wall out and extend it out a foot and a half to give me a little bit more extra room.
Yeah.
And then cut floors, put in plumbing. It was, except for the exterior walls, it was almost complete gut job.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The restrooms, were they here?
Yeah, they had 2 small restrooms. One of them had been, the sink and the toilet had been boarded over.
Wow.
And it was just kind of used as a utility room. And so we had to, we took that bench or whatever they had over it, and the bathrooms were so old that the carpeting was still underneath the toilet and the sink. And
wow.
It was pretty nasty.
I bet that was like carpet over that many years.
Yeah. In a bathroom to begin with.
Catches all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So, looks like, you get another really good thing about the brew community is everyone has been supporting you like crazy.
Oh yeah. This, I don't even know how to describe to some people what it's like to be a part of that community. I mean, everybody. When listen to your Casual Animal, you're talking to Kyle, and he talks about 99% asshole free.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know that I've never met anybody.
You've never met the 1%?
No, I've never met the 1%. I mean, everybody I've met is golden, and that's the best part about this is we debated on being open Sunday, and that first Sunday it was like, oh, shit, this is just like hanging out with people at home,
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's be open on Sunday.
Yeah. You're going to be doing this anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
That being said, it's kind of the same for me with the podcast. Everyone's been really supportive and letting me come out and do it.
Oh, yeah.
I really appreciate that. especially now, like you could be home, everyone's been willing to do this after hours. And that was really surprising to me to see that. So it's, I feel that too.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is. It's remarkable.
Yeah. So speaking of Kyle, I was going to bring that game and the trivia game, but I could not find it because I was in such a hurry.
And I've been studying all day.
I know. Yeah. It's kind of cool. My mother-in-law got that game for me, and I don't know most of them, but I want to see what other people might know.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fun. Play it with my wife, and that's the only partner I have to play it with right now. Really.
Yeah, I probably need to find it and stick it over with our games here in the.
It'd be a fun game to play here. Yeah. For sure. Looks like you do have some games back there. Yeah, we do. Is that Legos or something there too?
Yeah. Yeah,
cool. I could sit in here and play some Legos or build Legos and drink beer. That sounds like a good time.
It's been probably one of the more popular things we stuck over on that shelf.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
How far away from here do you live?
Not very far. I'll be home in 3 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. This is Windshift. Website?
Right now we're just using Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one, but there's some problem with the domain. So I'll send you the link and you can put it up on or whatever.
Yeah. I'd like to add it to the post or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we need to get that fixed. There's so many little things that we need to get to at this point.
Yeah, but you got so much other stuff going on. It's thankfully Lynn is a marketing person.
Yes.
Right? That helps a lot.
25 years kind of working in marketing around the city. And
you're in good hands then.
Yeah, really good hands. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you guys just got tattoos, right? What's that anything to do with the business or anything?
Yeah, I think business and kind of what we're doing. We had a Indiegogo to help build a patio, and we had set a goal of 7,500, and a couple days before it was over, we were like at 8,500. And,
wow.
And Curtis Ratliff, a ZZ Hop member, had reached out on the Facebook ZZ Hop page and said, what would it take for you to get a tattoo? And I just kind of spouted off, for $12,000 I would get a narwhal tattoo and narwhal butterfly tattoo, and we hit that mark in no time whatsoever. So
see, there you go again with that support. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So and then I was like, okay, so I'm resigned to getting a narwhal tattoo, and if people come in here, one of the artists that came in, Herb Shell, he did our mural on the side. He did Ninkasi, and Lynn loves that narwhal from the movie Elf, and she goes, I want a narwhal on the wall. And
that's awesome.
I wasn't sure how that was going to come together, but they were smarter than I am, and they came up with a crazy cool concept for a mural on the wall. And
it looks badass.
Yeah. Really, so I reached out to him. I said, hey, looks like I'm getting a tattoo. Can you design me a narwhal tattoo? And he did. So working with Herb and tattoo artist Mahi down at Midtown Tattoos, which I found, I reached out to tattoo artists, and most of them were like, 18 months, the ones that I saw that I thought I'd pull it off the art, and 2 years. And I was like, well, it's going to be a while before I get this done. And happened to be somebody sitting at the bar hearing the story, and he's like, hey, I used to work with this guy who programmed paint guns at the Ford plant. You want me to call him? And I'm like, sure. So he calls him, and he's like, you know what? I got a cancellation. Have him come in Monday.
Wow.
And it's like, it's the whole beer community thing back again. So
it's almost the Windshift thing too.
Yeah.
If you think about it deeply, it's kind of it's all just kind of coming together.
Yeah. Everything
it's
just
effortless almost.
Kind of thrown in for me. Yeah. So I went down there and he tweaked it a little bit to be his own style, and I love what he did. It's kind of a reminder of the faith that people had in me, and Herb
great.
threw in stars for the time at Apex, and Coy for good fortune. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank
by
you.
The way.
Thank you.
A lot of people don't know this, but like I said, I've been talking to you for a long time, and there's been talks of doing this podcast, but it's always been a different thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was homebrew, then it was the deal at Apex opening up, and then it was, okay, let's go back to doing some homebrew, and then now we're here, and I had no idea you were going to open up your own.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I waited.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a great thing to celebrate. So
until December, neither did I. But
I know it was awesome. I saw it. I just saw it on Facebook. I was like, whoa, what? Crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Come down to Windshift.
Yep.
What time do you open again? Thursday, Fridays?
Yep. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Thursday we're here 5 to 9, 10 roughly.
Okay, cool.
Fridays and Saturdays, noon to 10, and then Sundays, noon to 5.
That'll be good for college football too.
Yeah, it will
Saturdays we kick ass down here.
Yep. Yeah.
I hope that I can get out a little bit more once the baby grows up. You know, that's kind of. I'd bring him here too. You know? That's the nice thing.
We're super family friendly. I think unless it got rained away, if you look at our sidewalk on the way in, kids are always out there with chalk, and we'll continue that with the patio. We're going to make sure they have places to play on the patio, and we're trying to be pet friendly too. We've got dog treats are being made from our spent grains, and we're just kind of welcoming everybody.
Is that what the bags of dog treats are up there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're made by another ZZ Hop member, Barry Pruitt, who.
Wow.
Yep. So
I'm about to get some of those for our dogs.
Yep.
That'd be cool. So, all right, man. What else we got? Did we touch anything? I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on? I don't script these things. I mean, I should, but I'm kind of sitting here trying to think of other things to talk about.
And we've covered a lot of ground.
Got some Polly's Pop here, too.
Yeah, we do have Polly's Pop for the kids.
Yep.
Just ask, and we'll do a kids' flight for them. And
yeah. I kind of want one myself. I know my wife would be happy about that, too. She loves that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I left. I brought Tony the wit beer there, and then there's a milk stout behind you and a smoked ale. So I'll have you try those, and then let me know what you think of the other ones.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about both of them, especially the smoked ale. You don't run into those too often. And
I had
kind of
one of
my
those.
favorite styles.
Me too. I like that too. I was hoping it'd be a little more smoky, but maybe there's something along the same lines of dry hopping or adding flavors afterwards or something that I don't know about that I'll try the next time or.
Yep. Smoked's fun to play with. A lot of times when I do something, I use cherry smoked malt just because it's more bacony than peaty. Mm-hmm. And Taylor Jones, another ZZ Hop member, he and I paired up for a black smoke IPA a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be doing it here hopefully soon. And he smoked the hops on top of the cherry smoked malt, and it gave it a really cool flavor. Yeah, we used whole leaf hops and smoked them, and
that sounds awesome. I'd love to try that sometime.
Yeah, that'll come up.
Cool. We'll keep an eye out. Can we watch these? Can we watch the menu on online?
Yeah, we're a verified venue on Untapped, so if you follow us on Untapped, that's one way. And then Untapped also updates our Facebook tap list, so all the new stuff is there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Plus, we're going to, anytime something new's coming out, there'll be a new beer alert on Instagram and Facebook, so Perfect. Twitter. So if you're following any one of those, you're going to know what we're doing.
Cool. I'm stoked that you're here.
Thanks.
Now, I mean, you're right here, right next to where I come every day, so that made me even more excited. The other day, I was just like blown away. I was like, no way, that's where it's at? I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, you sent me the address, but I never actually looked it up. Yeah,
we still have a little bit of a speakeasy kind of feel because there's not much signage. There's just a bright orange door.
Mm-hmm. It literally, it's the Napa building with a sign.
Yes, and that banner, I think our permit runs out on it pretty quickly. So once the patio's done, then it's back to the planning commission and the city council to find out what kind of signs we can put on the building.
Cool. I'm sure that's a whole nother
project.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of work that goes into this, so staying as humble and put together as you are, that's pretty admirable. So, and I appreciate
it's all about the hobby.
Yeah, it's rewarding. So again, I appreciate you having me, man.
Oh yeah, thank you for coming out.
Yeah,
thank you for the beer.
Yeah, thank you for the beer.
Yeah,
So, all right. So, yeah, come to Windshift Brewing. Is it Windshift Brewing Company? Or what do you go by?
Windshift Brewing, Windshift Brew.
Okay,
Windshift
I just want to make
Brewing
sure I
Company.
say it exactly how you want it to be said. But it's right off I-70 and, what was this, Woods Chapel?
Woods Chapel Road, yeah. We're 30 seconds off the exit.
Yep. So, it'd be very easy to get here.
Yeah.
So, all right, Tony, thanks a lot, man.
Thank
It's
you.
good to finally meet up with you. I'll see you
Cheers.
again soon for sure.
Yep.
Cheers.